Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos and the question is, are you Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in or are you Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out? Now I still believe, even though we have revived ourselves recently, I still believe the vast majority of Manchester United fans still want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the football club, and one of them is me, because I still don't think he is the long-term future for the football club. There may still be certain Manchester United fans that are backing him, and are still basically saying that we should give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else of course he can recommend in to the football club. But I've got to credit him recently, because I think we have showed a lot of tactical flexibility, and I think in the last 6 games or so in our competitions, prior to the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, I have seen a variety of changes. Certain players have stepped up to the plate. Like I recently just said, we showed them a lot of tactical flexibility. Quite recently as well, we've also started creating chances. Like we did do at the weekend against Brighton. We also did it in the game against Partizan Belgrade. But obviously, for the vast majority of this season, that's been an element of concern. We have been struggling to create chances, and this is probably the explanation why we haven't been scoring enough goals. But I think some aspects of our game have definitely improved. We've also scored more goals recently, so hopefully where we can keep this good run of form up. I have criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season, well, for the vast majority of this season, because you can say he has been tactically naive. Some of his substitutions have been questionable and that. But yeah, I think probably should stick with him for this present time, because I think us getting rid of him now or just before Christmas wouldn't solve a lot of problems at the football club. But I can almost assure, I can't fully assure it, but I can almost assure that he won't see out his 3-year contract at Manchester United, because when he had been given the job permanently, he had signed a 3-year contract. He got the job permanently back in March earlier on this year. But obviously for the vast majority of this season, we have been inconsistent. We've obviously enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. So the last time we had as bad a start as this, I think, was back under the Ron Atkinson era. This was obviously before the Ferguson era. But you can't just blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. I think everyone needs to take some responsibility. Even though we have recently improved in that, I still believe we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, like I've recently spoken to guys about. I think we need to definitely get rid of Mark Current board, because I do believe that the board have been a liability for several years. Obviously, reflecting on their poor recruitment, it hasn't only been poor recently, it's been poor for several years now. And I think in the next couple of windows, definitely the recruitment has got to improve. So next year, we've got to get the right calibre players to Manchester United if we are, going to be a future title contenders, and obviously get us back to being a competitively level football club. And you can say that the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, during the course of the summer, as they did, actually, I'm sure that they would have done. I think, we also need to get rid of Ed Woodward, because I think, he replicates the board in the aspects of being a liability, because Ed Woodward has been a liability for several years. And I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does need to go. But, even though we've enjoyed a really bad start to the season, for the majority of this season, Ed Woodward recently ensured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. I still believe these more players that do need to leave the football club, despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. So what I mean is that I still believe, these more problematic players at the football club that I do need to be moved on next year. I think from my own perception, probably around 4 or 5 more players do need to leave. I've obviously already given you the list of players that I think need to be moved on next year. I do believe that Ashley Young is one of the problematic players at the football club, because he's obviously now past his sell by date. He's 34 years of age. He does turn 35 next year. You know, and you can say he's coming to an end of his footballing career. There is question marks regarding Solskjaer and that as well. Why has he been playing Ashley Young on a regular basis this season? He's been a long-serving player with the club. He's now into his 9th season as a Man United player. You know, the club also gave him a new 1-year extension last season, so that was also, you know, a bad mistake from the football club. But I did pinpoint out anywhere, you know, that we've made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. Jones, I think, you know, he's one of the problematic players at the football club, and I think definitely, you know, we do need to consider getting rid of him, because obviously anywhere now his appearances are limited in the Premier League, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. But Jones will, like I said, he'll get his chance in like the Carabao Cup and the Europa League games, but prior to that, you know, he won't really get many opportunities, really. You know, he's now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player, he's Phil Jones, so he's been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young. We shouldn't have given Jones that new long-term contract last season. That was a bad mistake from the football club. Rojo, and like I recently mentioned to you guys, I think, you know, people, you know, will have different perceptions regarding Rojo. You know, some Man United fans, you know, will say we should keep him for at least a year, and some Man United fans, you know, will say, you know, we should get rid of him. You know, Rojo obviously isn't first choice. You know, we have seen, you know, glimpses of how good he can be as a Manchester United player. I'm actually surprised that he didn't leave the club in the summer, Rojo, because he was subjected to intense speculation. There was quite a few foreign clubs in for him. Obviously, Everton were in for him. Don't forget, you know, we wanted around £25 million for Rojo, but Everton and Man United, you know, just couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. Rojo's just got under 2 years left on his contract at the football club, and he is 29 years of age. And one thing that I do credit him for, that his versatility is very, very good. And we have got quite a few defenders, you know, that are very, very versatile. Rojo is predominantly centre-back, but he can also play as a full-back. He can also play as a wing-back. But we've actually, you know, prevented him from leaving the football club this January. So I think Solskjaer has revealed the reason why he's still keen on keeping Marcus Rojo. Definitely, you know, Nemanja Matic does need to be moved on. I think, you know, he does, because he's one of the problematic players at the football club. You know, Matic isn't getting any younger now. You know, he's 31 years of age. He's Matic. You know, he's too easily predictable in that midfield. He's too slow. You know, and I've just got so many element of concerns about him. And, you know, maybe there's some aspects of his game where he's quite good. He can pass the ball well sometimes. Sometimes he can hold his line well. But prior to that, very, very bad player. You know, he's had some good spells as a Man United player. Also had some good spells, you know, during his tenure with Chelsea. But I will agree on the aspect, you know, that we definitely know overpaid for him. You know, we paid around £40 million from Chelsea. Don't forget, Matic's current contract does expire at the end of the season, but we do have an option to extend it by a further year. But I'm very, very sceptical about Man United, you know, extending his contract by a further year. Some people do believe that we need to get rid of Jesse Lingard because, you know, he's enjoyed a really, really bad season so far, you know, as Jesse Lingard. And I did actually mention, you know, reflecting on his status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. But I'd still say, from my own perception, that Jesse Lingard is the long-term solution for Manchester United. So without a shadow of a doubt, you know, more players do need to leave the football club. But definitely, you know, next year, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more than that, if we are to be back, you know, to where we currently want to be. You know, there's still deficiencies in the squad that definitely, you know, do need to be addressed. You know, that midfield area is one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. You know, some people believe we need 2 central midfielders. You know, we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. Definitely, and you could also say that was another mistake from Man United getting rid of Ander Herrera, because he was arguably one of our best players since the Ferguson era. You know, Herrera was at Man United 5 years, and I can say he enjoyed a good 3.5, 4 years out of the 5 years he was here. But we are aware of the impact he did make in that midfield. But it infuriated me more that we let Ander Herrera's contract run down, and then we let him go on a free transfer. So it would have been, even though we didn't want him to leave overall, it is, if we'd have let him go and got cashed in for him, obviously, it wouldn't have been as bad. But yeah, we definitely need to address that midfield. And we also need at least one striker. I think Solskjaer's orchestrating on bringing 2 strikers in, but we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because obviously, since their departures, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line. Looks very, very exposed in that attacking line and that. But yeah, and I think, from my own perception, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. We'll look to sign probably 1 or 2 players in January, but we'll do the vast majority of it next summer. But Solskjaer has been assured that he will be giving money to spend next year. I do believe, we're probably orchestrating on spending another substantial amount. I think, for my estimated guess, I think we'll probably spend in the region from between 200 to 250 million pounds on recruiting new players next year. Taking into account, we spent a substantial amount during the summer. We spent, around 148 million pounds, on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and they've all enjoyed a fantastic start to their Manchester United careers. And I'm actually, really, really surprised, with how quick, they've settled in to the football club. But but we didn't address all the problematic areas during the summer, which was a shame. But at least, we did address some of the problematic areas. We got the experienced centre half in. We also, got that right back in. But it's just a shame we didn't address all the problematic areas and that. But yeah, massive rebuild is needed at the football club. But, analysing the vast majority of this team, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anywhere. So you can still quite frankly say he's in the process of rebuilding. But yeah, we'll see who, of course, we can get in next year. Solskjaer is keen on continuing the policy of recruiting young British players, like he did do during the course of the summer. But I think there's around 5 or 6 players on his agenda, who he would be interested in recommending to the football club next year. Obviously, with us not being in Champions League football, that could obviously go against us next year, because when you're in Champions League football, it's more beneficial because obviously you attract players to the elite level, and but we're not in it, unfortunately. So I think Solskjaer is pessimistic about recruiting the right players to Man United next year and that. But we will obviously see what happens. But but I think recently, like I said, these players that have, players that have rejuvenated themselves and that, I've been praising Marcus Rashford, recently, because, I think he has definitely, rejuvenated himself. Rashford's been absolutely fantastic recently. His finishing's been good. He's been getting good runs in behind. Rashford has now scored 54 goals for the football club in all competitions since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. And I have been very, very impressed with him. But even though during his long bad spell, I still said at that point he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. And, Rashford so far has spent the entirety of his career with Man United up until this point, but maybe he won't spend the entirety of his career, with Manchester United. We'll see what happens. And he is only 22 years of age, but I credit him recently. Also, Anthony Martial has been absolutely fantastic, since he's come back from injury. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and we do know that he does add more inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch. I think some aspects of his game do replicate Rashford. Obviously, he replicates Rashford as well because, they can both play in the same positions. Obviously, as he got confirmed at the start of the season that Anthony Martial has been given that number 9 shirt. Because, to be fair, he seems to be more effective in that central position, even though he does primarily play out wide. Martial's scored 53 goals for the football club in all competitions, since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. So Martial now is into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. He is into his 5th season as a Man United player, and he's only 23 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. And he also did get 2 assists against Brighton at the weekend. But Martial does help the likes of Daniel James and Rashford in our attacking line. Daniel James, I think, like I mentioned, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I'm actually surprised, the way with how quick, Daniel James has settled in. I'm surprised, the amount of games he has played this season, because this season he has been a consistent starter for us. When we signed him during the summer, and I expected him to play games this season, but obviously not the games to the extent as he has done, but it's probably reflected on his good performances. This is why obviously he's been a consistent starter. Obviously he's gained a lot of Mulligan and Solskjaer's trust. But yeah, and Solskjaer, did rest him against Partizan Belgrade, because obviously he does realise that he's been overplaying Daniel James. I think Daniel James has now played over 900 minutes of Premier League football so far this season. Don't get me wrong, there's still some aspects of Daniel James's game that he does need to improve on. Maybe his crossing needs to improve, maybe finishing needs to improve, but you can still classify him as a prospect, and he needs more time to develop. He is only age 21, and he only broke into Swansea City's senior squad last season, so he's emulated himself up, really, really quick. And coming from Swansea anywhere to Man United, he's taken a huge step in his career, coming all the way from the Championship, to the Premier League. But I have been obviously, very, very impressed with Daniel James. But like I mentioned, anyway, we have got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. Like I said, I have got some element of concerns about certain young upcoming players. This is what I mean. I think some of them some of the young upcoming players do need to be loaned out next year. In my opinion, or maybe some of them do need to go permanently. But if we could do that next year, that would be a good piece of business from the football club. But I can definitely assure that the likes of Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Alex Tuanzebe, maybe perhaps James Garner will all become fruitions at Manchester United. Definitely, Solskjaer recently, give his overarching view on Mason Greenwood. How he thinks he's performed for the team, and that this season in the games he's been involved in. And Solskjaer's actually praised him. Don't get me wrong. I think Solskjaer should be playing him more on a regular basis, because there's these question marks around Solskjaer regarding that. Why has he not yet started Mason Greenwood from the start in the Premier League? But I think in the Premier League this season, Mason Greenwood has made around 8 or 9 substitute appearances. It's something near that anywhere. He has started a couple of games. He obviously started in the game against FC Astana. He started in the game against Rochdale. I think he started in the game against Partizan Belgrade. So he started games in other competitions, but he's not yet started a game from the start in the Premier League. And he knows he's still developing his Mason Greenwood, and he actually compared Mason Greenwood to Robin van Persie, and he actually said in terms of his finishing, it replicates Robin van Persie's. And this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently has said. But he still said that Mason Greenwood is learning the men's game. These are the things he said, obviously, during the press conference prior to the Brighton game. But Paul Scholes does believe that Mason Greenwood will eventually become a better goal scorer than Marcus Rashford. But he's a lot younger than Rashford, you could say. He's only 18. Rashford obviously now is 22. But Mason Greenwood is, I think he's better in the number 9, but he's also an option on that right hand side. Brandon Williams, he's been absolutely fantastic as Brandon Williams. And, like I said, if he did perform well in that, he would earn more first team promotions. And this is, what exactly, he has done. Brandon Williams has played well. Now, obviously, he's playing more often and he will keep playing more often if he does keep his consistency up. Like I mentioned on my recent video, I think, that left back has now been confirmed. I know it's been confirmed, because I think, you could say now that Brandon Williams is, a better solution than Luke Shaw. Despite that, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. He's also a better option than, Ashley Young. And he's only 19 years of age, is Brandon Williams. He was very, very good on his full debut in the 3-1 win against Brighton. But yeah, a very, very good player, and did sign a new contract not too long ago by the way. But being very, very impressed with him. But But yeah, we have got a lot of young upcoming players in the squad, like I mentioned. Obviously, I gave you the news, didn't I, earlier on regarding Chong. I think, he's another player that's expected to leave Manchester United. I think Chong has only played on 4 occasions for Man United, so obviously hasn't been a regular starter. I was reading reports recently, and it did say that Chong has decided that he's not renewing his contract with Man United, because there has been a lot of speculation, before and that about possibly, him renewing his contract. Don't forget, was it quite a few months ago now that he had turned down loan offers from PSV and his former club Feyenoord, but there has now been a change of this is now obviously a different scenario and that. But yeah, so he's not renewing his contract. He's informed Man United allegedly that he will be leaving at the end of the season, because his current contract does come to an end at the end of the season. He's only 19 years of age. I think it's actually Juventus that are the team that are showing the interest, so he could join Juventus on a free transfer at the end of the season and that. So we do know that obviously, Man United have still got a lot of injuries. We have still got a lot of injuries. And overall, we've had a lot of injuries. This season. So in that aspect, anywhere, Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. But, some players are now back from injury, but Solskjaer did recently, reveal that, more players are expected back, from injury after the international break, which is very, very good news. So Solskjaer did confirm that Matic, Luke Shaw, Tuanzebe, all of them, should be back after the international break. Matic has been out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw's been out with a hamstring injury. Tuanzebe has been out with a hip injury. Diego Dalot, he's actually sustained quite a few injuries this season, but I think it's unknown when Diego Dalot will be back in contention. Obviously, Bay's out until the end of the year. Fosu Mensah is still out with injury, but I think he's closer to returning. And Paul Pogba, as you all know, I updated you about the news regarding Paul Pogba, didn't I, earlier on this week. Paul Pogba did travel to Amsterdam to have his ankle caster removed, so that indicates that he is now closer to recovering from injury. Paul Pogba's obviously had an ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player for a matter of weeks. Solskjaer did confirm he's not expected back until December. He did say there was a slight chance, very unlikely, but a slight chance he could be back for the game against Sheffield United after the international break, but it's very, very, very unlikely. You could arguably say anyway, we've seen to have looked better without Paul Pogba in that midfield, even though we are all aware, of the difference Paul Pogba, does make in that midfield. But, Solskjaer did recently, confirm that, Fred will fulfill Paul Pogba's position for a while. And to be fair, Fred has done really, really well quite recently. Don't get me wrong, I don't know, if Fred is the long-term solution for Man United and that. He's only been here since last summer. He hasn't replicated at Man United, what he did do with Shakhtar Donetsk. But, give him more time, man. I do agree on the aspects that we overpaid for Fred. We paid just under £50 million for him last summer, like I mentioned. But yeah, I think he's blended in with McTominay really, really well in that midfield quite recently. They've complemented each other very, very well, and I've got the same perceptions on McTominay of what I've got with Fred. I did obviously give you the news, didn't I, earlier on regarding Scott McTominay. It was this morning. I did update you on that. It's confirmed McTominay has got an ankle injury. I think he's had initial scans on his ankle, and I think the injury is quite severe, because reports have emerged out saying that McTominay could be out for up to a month. And it's confirmed he will miss the game. He will miss the games against Tottenham and Man City with this injury. But McTominay, he's going to be big miss. And he's also recently withdrawn from the Scotland squad because of this ankle injury. He initially sustained the injury in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. we played him against Brighton, but obviously, he had to come off because he limped off in that game, did McTominay. But, McTominay's been a consistent start this season, and he has deserved to keep his place in the team, reflecting on his impressive performances. And, McTominay, he's 22 years of age. He only made his debut for the football club back in May 2017. But his progression in the last couple of years has been absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong, McTominay isn't a world-class midfielder. Fred isn't a world-class midfielder. But in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I've got a lot of element of concerns about that. So this is why I said, we do need to address that current midfield. But yeah, we have still got quite a few injuries, as you all know. But yeah, we are sitting now we are sitting 7th in the Premier League. Obviously, the 3-1 win against Brighton at the weekend put us up. 3-1 win against Brighton at the weekend put us up to 7th in the league, because obviously before that game, we was 14th in the league, and that, so it was a very, very good win. We've now obviously won 4 games now in the league this season. We've won 4 games out of 12. We've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So in that aspect, we've registered 16 points from possible 36. But obviously we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But Solskjaer's aware that anywhere that the league form does need to improve, because I think we've won as many, or we have won more in the cup than we actually have in the league. Some people now will believe that the Premier League's, obviously the league's probably not a priority as much as we all thought it would have been in that. We still do remain 9 points behind top 4. We've got to get into that top 4 this season. So obviously it gives us something. It gives us a platform to create. It gives us something to build on, and obviously so we can get back into the Champions League. But I've actually now fully disregarded the top 4. Obviously anything's possible, because there's still a long way to go, and there's a lot of twists and turns to come. But I don't see us getting the top 4 this season. Like I mentioned, I think our only route to Champions League for next season is progressing in the Europa League. And so far we're doing well in the Europa League. We've qualified to knockouts stages. We've still 2 games remaining. But that's obviously very, very good. And we're also in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. So there's some positives I do also I want to give you. But Solskjaer is obviously aware anywhere of the expectations. He does have to exceed at the football club if his managerial tenure is to work out and that. And I did say our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4, and finishing that top 4. But I think anywhere our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons, because analysing our squad at the moment isn't good enough to win the league. It isn't good enough, to even, challenge for the league, let alone win the league. So, from my own perception, I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next 3 to 4 years now, or something like that, maybe even longer. It's dependent on if we can get the right calibre players to Man United over the course of the next couple of years. And obviously, if we can see a variety of changes, then obviously, we'll have a different perception on it all. But I did, say at the start of this season, despite the 3 signings that were recommended into the football club during the summer, I still, I expected us not to win the league this season or mount any kind of title challenge up. And I also did say, though, one thing I did take into account, that I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because obviously last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Obviously we failed to win many silverware and that. But yeah, these are still a long way to go in the season and that, and hopefully we can keep this good run of form up. Because, Solskjaer, I think reflecting on, the good results and the good performances and that, the pressure, would have eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. Because obviously reflecting, back before the Liverpool game, Solskjaer, was under intense pressure at the club and that. And you could arguably say, the Liverpool game, the Norwich game, you could say them, games, saved his managerial tenure at the football club. But, I think we've done well recently, prior to the Bournemouth defeat, I think, we have done really, really well, which I'm very, very delighted about, and that. Very, very delighted about that. But, Solskjaer, has only been at the club now. He's been at the club around 11 months in total. He has been at Man United just under a year, and that. Overall, obviously, he's been a permanent manager for around 8 months. Obviously, for the vast majority of that 8 months, it has been very, very disappointing, comparison to when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well when he was the interim manager in that. He did really, really well in that. And obviously my perceptions were different then regarding Solskjaer. But obviously over the course of this 8-month period, my perceptions have started to change, to be quite honest with you. But if we can keep this good run of form up until, the next year, the new year, and, if we can keep it up for this season, then my perceptions, may start changing, regarding Solskjaer and that, Solskjaer still insists, Man United are heading in the right direction. He's aware that he's seen improvements, and he's said basically, he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward, and that. My element of concern I've got about him, that he hasn't got any intuition really, on how to, manage a big football club like Manchester United, and that. Despite the fact that he does know the traditions and that of the football club, because he was a great long-serving player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. Obviously, Solskjaer's most iconic moment, came in 1999 as a player. Of course, when he scored, that winner. The new camp against Bayern Munich, of course, to win the club the treble. Obviously, the treble is one of the club's greatest achievements, and that's now just over 20 years ago. And that was absolutely fantastic. And Solskjaer as a player, in total, made 366 appearances in all competitions and scored 126 goals for the football club, and served 11 years at Man United. Came in 96. And obviously, was there until 2007. But like I said, as a manager, it's totally comparison to how he was as a player, because he hasn't really got that managerial experience, not really to the highest level, and that. It doesn't mean he won't succeed at Man United, but I'm just saying my point of view on it. Before he came to Man United, obviously he was at Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. And before I was at Mould, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff and that. And, he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, and this is why he got sacked from Cardiff. He only managed around 29 or 30 games for them. And, so he did enjoy a really short tenure. But, yes, so hasn't really got that proven pedigree as a manager in that. But don't forget, Solskjaer knows a lot about Man United, like I said. Also take into account he managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years. So he did actually, watch some of this team at this day and age, grow and develop. So I will also, take that into account. Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager, obviously, was that 3-1 win against PSG last season in the Champions League. But so there's some things I do credit him for, and there's some things I've got element of concerns about him. So I just wanted to add that into the equation. That I do also believe Man United, like I've been updating you regularly in that. I do believe we do need a new director of football, and I did say that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. Is a new director of football, and that. There was quite a few former Man United players linked with that director's role during the course of the summer. But I did say if we was to recommend one in now or in the future, it would be beneficial to recommend someone who knows the culture of the club, someone who, would be reliable to oversee our transfer business, someone, who would have the right philosophy, to, recruit the right players in that to Manchester United next year. And that. So, yeah, I think we definitely need a new director of football, because, like I said, Eddie Woodward is still keen on recommending one in. But yeah, nothing much more is updated on it recently. Obviously, there was talks about Ralph Ragnick the other week. It was obviously, head of sport and development at Red Bull. Obviously, when he was younger, he managed various German clubs. There was also talks about him possibly, replacing Solskjaer at Man United. But I don't think, he will come either way. But he did say we travelled to Germany for the meeting with Ralph Ragnick. Obviously, Ed Woodward had scheduled the meeting and that. But yeah, still a lot of changes, we need to see at the football club and that. But, to be honest with you, I haven't really seen many improvements under Solskjaer, prior to the last 6 games or so. Prior to the last 6 games, I haven't really seen any improvements under Solskjaer, prior to the last 6 games and prior to when he was the interim manager, than what I saw under Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, and of course David Moyes. But we are the big massive club, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England historically, reflecting on the success we've had. We've obviously won 20 Premier League titles, won 20 Premier League titles, won about, 12, I think around 12 FA Cups we've won now, is it? We've won about, 4 or 5 League Cups, something like that, 3 European Cups and that, so yeah. And obviously the vast majority of the silverware we won anywhere, obviously came under Alex Ferguson. I think in total, Ferguson, won about 38 major honours at Manchester United. So won the vast majority of our silverware, under him. And, Solskjaer, did say that he thinks, he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy at Man United. But, that's mainly everything to update you with. But, I want to ask the question again, are you Solskjaer in? Are you Solskjaer out? I need to know in the comments below. I'm still Solskjaer out. I'd keep him for now, don't get me wrong. I can almost assure he will stay at Manchester United for this season anyway, because I think the board did assure at the start of the season that regardless of the outcome this season, that his job will be safe, because I think they realised that they didn't back him enough during the course in the summer. But I've already given you the transfer news, haven't I? You are aware of the players that are on our agenda. There's talks of Mario Mandzukic coming in. I think it's very, very probable that Mandzukic will come in next year. Jadon Sancho still on our agenda. Christian Eriksen, there's been recent rumours about him. Could possibly go back in for Bruno Fernandes next year. Moussa Dembele is another player, James Maddison. And I think, I've got to say, all them players, or the vast majority of them players at least, I think, would elevate Manchester United forward, definitely, in my opinion. So anyway, guys, like I said, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.